24. 24. 24 is more than just a fantastic show that came on in the early to mid 2000s. 24 is also the amount of hours until the 2021 season kicks off and the 2021 fantasy season kicks off. So 24 is the number of the day. And it's going down. It's going to 23, 22 as the hours go by. So by the end of this show, we'll be at 23 hours. Isn't everybody excited? All right, let's get these week 1 questions out of the way. Yes, to answer your question, we will be doing the Start Sit Show on Sunday. I've done it for 4 years now, every Sunday. And it's going to be streaming live just like this on all the platforms, Roto Bros, the Roto Bros Facebook page, my Twitter, at Wizard of Roto, by the way. So it's going to be everywhere. So you're still going to be able to do this on Sunday morning if I can't get to your questions. But I'm going to try to get to as many as possible. All right, so here we go. Everybody ready? I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this since last December. It's been over almost a year. Like I'm so excited. All right, so let's get it going, and let's get on the right track to winning you guys some fantasy championships. All right, first question of the year comes from Michael Lewis on Twitter. 4 points per passing touchdown, Dak or Tom Brady. Look, I don't think you can really go wrong either way. I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game. Obviously, there's the Bucs defense is unbelievable, and we're going to wait and see what happens with the Cowboys defense with Micah Parsons now. We're going to see if it's much better than it was last year. It should be improved. I don't think this is going to be a 17-10 type of game. I do think we're going to get into the upper 20s on both ends. I think it's going to be a very competitive game, but I do think Tampa's going to end up pulling this thing out. I'm going to go with Brady here. I'm going to go with Brady. It's flip a coin. Like, you really can't go wrong. It's week 1. You really don't know what to expect from anybody yet for the most part. But look, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go with Tom Brady in week 1. Of course, Dak coming off essentially 2 injuries. So that's another thing to think about as well. It's going to be Dak the majority of the season because I think Dak's going to win MVP. I think he's going to be QB2 in fantasy. I think he's going to rip through the NFC East. But I think for week 1, let's stick with what we know, and let's stick with Tom Brady. That's going to be my choice. Brandon Rodriguez, what do you think on Eckler's status? So for those of you that don't know, Austin Eckler came down today. He did not practice. He was on the stationary bike, loosening up his hamstring. He had a hamstring injury. It doesn't sound like, we don't have a ton of information, but it doesn't sound like it was anything super serious. So it sounds to me like he's going to be fine for Sunday. There's nobody on the planet that owns more Austin Eckler shares than me. So for me, I'm going with Austin Eckler. I think he's going to be fine. It's business as usual. We'll wait and see what happens leading up to Sunday. But as of right now, I'm sticking with Austin Eckler, and that's that. So I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to play. But with the hamstrings, you got to always be cautious no matter what the position is. I'm going to go with Eckler, and I'm going to stick with him. I think he's going to be fine for Sunday. At least that's what it sounds like. So let's hope that it's nothing more serious than that. Brandon McLemore, who you got? Gus Edwards or Claypool in full point PPR? I'm going to be honest with you. I love Gus Edwards this week. I love the matchup. I do. I love it as he's the guy now. Like, he's the number 1 guy with J.K. Dobbins out for the season. I do think Tyson Williams is gonna play a role. Obviously, the last few shows, I've been telling you guys, look, go after Tyson Williams. I don't care about Le'Veon Bell. I'm not worried about Le'Veon Bell. So those of you worried about Le'Veon Bell, calm down. Just breathe. I think you're gonna be okay. I don't think Le'Veon Bell is gonna ruin Tyson Williams' status as the new Gus Edwards to Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins now. They sort of like flipped roles. Gus is playing the J.K. Dobbins role. Tyson Williams is playing the Gus Edwards role. That's what's expected. And Gus Edwards, for 3 seasons in a row, is only one of a handful of running backs that has rushed for over 700 yards. The others being Kamara and Zeke and Derrick Henry and guys like Christian McCaffrey, like guys like that are top flight elite. Okay, so if Tyson Williams inherits that Gus Edwards role in from the last couple years, Tyson Williams is going to be fine. I'm not worried about Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon between the tackles is he's not a concern. Le'Veon would only be a concern when it comes to catching passes. And over the last 3 seasons, the Ravens have ranked in the bottom 3 when it comes to passes to running backs. So they just don't throw the ball to running backs anyway. But regardless of that, Gus Edwards and Tyson Williams, I think, are going to be fine. So it's going to be Gus Edwards for me. Long-winded answer, but Gus Edwards for me. All right, let's see. Rojo, Ronald Jones, or Singletary this week. I'm going Ronald Jones. I'm not really wild about either one of those guys. Devin Singletary does not move the needle for me. Does not move the needle for me whatsoever. And it's going to be hard for me to ever answer a question with Devin Singletary because number one, we don't know. We've seen him as a starter. We've seen how he is not a needle mover himself. Like he just doesn't get the job done. Okay. There might even be somebody in your free agency right now that is a better choice to start than Devin Singletary. But I'm definitely going to go with Ronald Jones. He's going to get plenty of work, even with Leonard Fournette, obviously. I think it's going to be interesting, though. I do think that they are going to be committed to using Gio a lot. This could be a backfield, guys. I don't think a lot of people are thinking about Gio. I think Gio's going to cause a lot of headaches for a lot of Fournette and Ronald Jones owners. And I think probably for Ronald Jones owners more than anything, if I had to guess between one of the two, I think Gio is going to cause some headaches, and I think they're gonna rotate all 3 of these guys, and I think it's smart. But for right now, I think I'm going to go with Ronald Jones over Singletary. I think even Ronald Jones, even in a 3-man backfield, to me is even better than Singletary starting completely. Like we've read that story, we know how it ends. We don't need to read that book again on Devin Singletary. Start 2, Brandon Ayuk, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, Michael Pittman. That's a good question because I think everybody... Look, I love Jalen Waddle. It's been no secret. He's one of my top receivers in this draft. He's one of most people's top receivers in this draft. But I think all of these other options you have here are going to be better. I'm not sitting Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is definitely going to be starting. And I think, look, I love Jerry Jeudy. He's the way his play style, he's going to be a volume hog. Teddy Bridgewater starting is a good thing for him. Michael Pittman is a good start if Carson Wentz plays, but Carson's coming off the injury. We don't know what to expect. So I think, look, you got to go with the talent here. You got to go with the production that we've seen with bad quarterback play. We don't know if Sam Darnold's going to be any better than Teddy Bridgewater. I honestly don't even think that he probably will be. He'll probably be closer to about the status quo. Okay, he'll probably be about the same. It's not going to be much different. Sam Darnold, I don't think, is all of a sudden going to turn into Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. Okay, but look, we've seen DJ Moore produce before. I'm not benching him for Jerry Jeudy, Michael Pittman, Jalen Waddle in week 1. I'm just not. So it's Ayuk and it's DJ Moore for me. Juju or Odell Beckham. I'm going to go with, I don't think Beckham is a bad play this week. But again, coming back from injury, it's a run-heavy team. They are playing the Chiefs, so I do think they're going to have to probably throw a little bit more than typical. But I'm not going to try to guess game script here. I'm just going to go with Juju. I think you can probably rely on Juju a little bit more than Odell Beckham. Let's just kind of play the wait and see with Odell. There's really no reason week 1. There's really no reason to roll that dice right now. So it's going to be Juju for me. PPR, Gallup against the Bucks or Hollywood Brown against the Raiders. Let me tell you something. You don't even need to own Hollywood Brown. You can cut Marquise Brown. You can cut him. I know Rashad Bateman's out, and Sammy Watkins isn't great. You can cut Marquise Brown. He's not doing anything for you. He's not good. He could blow up for 167 yards and 2 scores in week 1. I don't care. He's not worth your time in a managed week-to-week season-long league. He's just not, because week-to-week, you're going to have to guess, when's the Marquise Brown blow-up going to happen? And the closer we get to Rashad Bateman returning, and eventually when it does, there is no value there. I would go ahead and cut bait on Marquise Brown. He has no fantasy value in my opinion. Playing on that offense with that quarterback, like he just doesn't. There's somebody in your free agent, unless this is a 14-team, 16-team league with deep rosters or something, you probably have someone better on your free agent. So if it's between the two, I'm going to go Gallup, but I would steer far away from Marquise Brown. Tua, Zach Wilson, or Derek Carr for my QB2 spot. Tua, Zach Wilson, or Derek Carr. It's a good question. I like them all about the same, but obviously with Zach being on a bad football team, on in week one, you really don't know what to expect. Rookie quarterback, I'm not going Zach. It's between Tua, it's between Carr. I think I'm going to go with Carr here. I just am. I'm going to go with Carr. If the game gets out of hand, they're going to have to throw. I'm going to go with Derek Carr. I'm going to go with what I know here, and I think that with Tua, I don't think Tua is going to be a bad quarterback, but I think what the Dolphins are going to ultimately do with Tua, I don't think they're going to let Tua cook. I think people that think that they are going to just go air raid in Miami and let him cook, I think is a problem. I believe what's going to happen with Tua is they are going to treat him more like Baker Mayfield. They're going to build everything around him and protect him and be more of a high-quality game manager and not have the game in his hands every single game. I just don't think that is what's going to happen. I think they want Tua to be efficient. They want him to be protected. They want to lean on the run and their defense. And I think that's smart. So I think I'm going to go with Derek Carr here. I think there's more upside than with Zach Wilson and Tua. I think, obviously, long run, Zach Wilson's got the most upside by far. But week one, rookie quarterback, bad football team, I don't know. I'm not feeling that. I'm going to stay Clay. I'm going to stay, again, with what I know, and I'm going to go with the most upside here. I'm going to go with Derek Carr. Hunt or Damian Harris? I'm going to go Kareem Hunt. Look, if they do have to start, Kareem Hunt, regardless if they have to start throwing or not, okay, against the Chiefs, Kareem Hunt's going to get his. Okay? Kareem Hunt's going to produce. You know what you're getting out of Kareem. And if they start throwing, that's even better for him. So I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt. Look, there is no bigger Damian Harris fan, many of you know, outside of the state of Alabama and, the Northeast United States than I. I love Damian Harris. I'm a Damian Harris OG. A lot of you laughed at me a couple years ago when I said Damian Harris is going to be a difference maker. But it's week one. Ramondre Stevenson could play a big role. Now, Ramondre, it is worthy to note, he did hurt his finger. So we don't know if he's going to ultimately start. I think he's play. He's expected to this week, but keep an eye on that. If he doesn't, then I think you can probably pivot to Damian Harris, so probably a little more work. But look, I think this Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, J.J. Taylor backfield, it's going to be a headache. If you are expecting Damian Harris to get a high amount of the workload and be this strong high-end, RB2, low-end RB1, you're going to have a bad time this year. I like Damian Harris, but I don't think I want him any higher than unless he's my RB4 on my team. So I'm going to go with Hunt. Better talent, better team, better offense. Game script, I think is going to work in his favor for the most part. So Kareem Hunt for me is going to be the choice over Damian Harris. Jacoby Myers, Jarvis Landry, or Marquez Callaway. I don't think any of them are bad options, but look, what do we know? Jameis throws the rock. We saw the last time Jameis and Marquez Callaway were on the field together. I have been a Marquez Callaway guy. He made my Phillip Lindsay list as the number one undrafted player that I was watching, and here you go. Marquez Callaway. So Marquez Callaway is going to be the choice there. I'm going to go with the team that's going to throw a lot, the quarterback that is not afraid to go downfield. I'm taking Marquez Callaway. I think the upside is there. If you want to go with the higher floor, Jacoby Myers might be the guy. Obviously, there's a good argument for Jarvis Landry as well. I'm going to go with ceiling. I'm going to go with Marquez Callaway. Stafford or Lawrence? Listen to me. You are not benching Matthew Stafford probably ever for Trevor Lawrence. You're just not this year. And if this is a redraft league, with small benches, you don't even need to own Trevor Lawrence. You don't need a second quarterback. There's going to be plenty of them in free agency for you to choose from if Stafford gets hurt or when he's on bye. So you don't need Trevor Lawrence. Anyway, you don't need to make that decision. Stafford is your every week starter. There's just not going to be many situations, if at all, this year where you're going to say, I'm going to bench Matthew Stafford with this high upside on this offense behind this great offensive line. You're just not doing it for unknown rookie Trevor Lawrence. Look, we love him. He's a generational talent under center. But we don't know what to expect out of the coaching staff with Urban Meyer. We don't know what to expect out of that offense in that system. First-year quarterback, you're not doing it. Don't get cute. Play Matthew Stafford. Noah Fant or Mike Gesicki. I'll go with Noah Fant. I'm not really excited about either one of them. But I'll go with Noah Fant. I'll take the overall talent between the two. It's pretty much a coin flip for me. I'm not going to crucify anybody for going with Mike Gesicki, but I'm going to go with Noah Fant here. Need one out of Deebo Samuel, Devontae Smith, Shenault, or Chase. There it is, Devontae Smith. He plays the Falcons. You got to go with Devontae Smith. I have been saying it all year long. Devontae Smith, by the end of the year, by playoff time, if not before, Devontae Smith's going to be a league winner. He's going to carry people to fantasy championships and to the playoffs. Devontae Smith's going to be a problem. If he stays on the field, he's going to be a problem. This is going to be a team that probably isn't going to have a good defense. In this week 1 against Atlanta, two teams that have bad defenses, okay, probably going to be a high-scoring contest. Probably going to be a lot of throwing the football. Devontae Smith is the answer to me. He's the best player out of those four right now, I think. And I think eventually it will be Chase. But right now I'm going to go with Devontae Smith. Highest upside in week 1. Give me Devontae Smith. Flex 1, Clyde Edwards-Helaire versus the Browns, or Mostert versus the Lions, Deontay Johnson versus the Bills. I'm going to go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Look, I get that the Browns defense is good. I get that their defensive line is good. I get that Clyde is coming off a bit of a disappointing season. But look, this has turned into one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. They have completely... I don't even know if a unit in the NFL this offseason has done a complete 180, has been turned completely on its head, like the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're literally going to go from one of the worst offensive lines to one of the best in 1 year. This offensive line is going to be great. And that's why that's the biggest reason. Forget Le'Veon Bell not being there. That's the biggest reason why a lot of us love a Clyde Edwards-Helaire bounce back. I'm going with Clyde. But if you went with Deontay Johnson, I'm not going to be mad at you. He would be my second one. I'm not messing with Raheem Mostert. I'm a Trey Sermon guy. I think Trey Sermon's going to be heavily involved, and I think he's the better football player. Landry or Devontae Smith? It's going to be Devontae Smith for me. Let's see here. Hunt or Deebo? I'm going to go Kareem Hunt. PPR or standard for the most part. I would probably lean with Hunt there. Let's see. Dak or Jalen Hurts? I'm going to go with, boy, that's a good question. That's a good question. If we knew for certain that Jalen Hurts was going to be the truth, we all think Jalen Hurts is going to be this, at the very worst, this low-end QB1 in fantasy. But when it comes to benching someone like Dak, that's risky. If it was Joe Burrow, I think there's a bigger argument for that. But we don't know what we're really going to get out of Jalen Hurts. We don't actually know how good he is, if he's any good. He had really one good game. So I don't think either one of them are really bad plays, but to bench Dak Prescott, I'm going to need to be a little more sure in the guy that I'm benching him for. Dak or Big Ben? I'm going to go with Dak there. I don't hate Big Ben this year. I think he's actually a really good option to finish as a top 15 quarterback in fantasy. I think he's almost a lock for that in a way. I seem to have lost my place here a little bit. Let's scroll on down. There's a lot of them coming in, guys, so I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can. By the way, this seems like a good point to mention. You see it scrolling at the bottom. Join the Roto Bros Fantasy Advice Lounge if you want all your questions answered. If you want DFS advice, you want to win some money, you want season long in football. We've got even season long in baseball and basketball as well. We've got best ball going on as well. We cover it all in the Roto Bros Fantasy Advice Lounge. Go to patreon.com/RotoBros. Patreon.com/RotoBros. Sign up. There's a silver tier that gets you access in the Fantasy Lounge. There's a gold tier that gets you access in the Fantasy Lounge as well, but it also gives you a lot of extra goodies. In the offseason, you're going to get my NFL Draft scouting brief. So for you Dynasty heads, you're going to want that. You get Mark and Joe's weekly DFS podcast. You get a Snaps and Targets report every week. You get our after party podcast each week. You guys are going to love that. So again, patreon.com/RotoBros. Check that out. It is the best hidden gem in fantasy, and I promise you will not regret it. Here's the best part. Everybody gets the first 2 months free. Half the season, you get it for free. You're not going to be able to beat that anywhere, and you're going to love it. And you can cancel anytime if you don't like it. But you will love it, I can promise you that. All right, CEH, Gaskin, or Darrell Henderson in the flex spot. I'm going to go with CEH. I think there's an argument to be made for Gaskin here, because I do think they have already said they're not going to go committee here. That's not what they're thinking. Gaskin is a good option as an RB3, RB4 on your team, because this is a guy that's not getting a lot of pub. Okay, not very flashy, not going to move the meter for you, but he's going to be a workhorse, and he could end up as a low-end RB1, sneaking into that RB12, RB11 spot this year. So I'm going to go CEH here. Are you starting Barkley? I didn't draft him in the top 5, or even in the I didn't draft him in the first round to bench him. Saquon Barkley's getting started. I know it's not a great matchup. Broncos defense, one of my top streaming defenses this year, one of my top defenses period this year. But look, it's Barkley. I think as an overall talent when healthy, he's the best running back in the league. I'm not benching that. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it. So, yeah, I'm starting Barkley. AB versus the Cowboys, Pittman versus Seattle, Swift versus the 49ers, pick 2. I'm going Swift, and I'm going Antonio Brown. People are going nuts over Chris Godwin this year, and they are overpaying for Chris Godwin. In the, I think, 5 or 6 games where they played on the field, where they were on the field together, Antonio Brown, every single week, Antonio Brown outproduced Chris Godwin essentially across the board. Antonio Brown is the guy that you should have been fading Chris Godwin for and getting much later. Antonio Brown, to me, is going to have a really good game against the Cowboys. I love him this week. And DeAndre Swift, look, there's been no bigger proponent that I've seen this offseason than me when it comes to DeAndre Swift. The ceiling's there. He's looking to play week 1. This is a guy that I don't care about Jamal Williams. Everybody's freaking out about Jamal Williams. What did Jamal Williams ever do to Aaron Jones? Did he ever prevent Aaron Jones from finishing as a top 3 running back? Did he ever prevent Aaron Jones from being a workhorse? No. So why are we expecting that to happen for DeAndre Swift? DeAndre Swift's going to be fine. I love DeAndre Swift this year, so I'm going with DeAndre. Fitz or Tua? I'm going to go with Fitz. I think, look, Fitz is going to throw. Fitz has got Curtis Samuel. We don't know if he's going to play. But he's got Curtis Samuel. He's got Logan Thomas, who finished as tight end 3 last year, and he was only getting better as a tight end. And, of course, Terry McScorin. Okay? Look, I'm Antonio Gibson. I mean, J.D. McKissick out of the backfield. Like, he has got a lot of great stuff to work with. Probably the best weapons he's worked with in quite some time. Probably since his Buck days, I guess. Arguably even better than that in totality, especially if Curtis Samuel plays. Give me Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think Fitz is going to be great, at least for the first few weeks. Start Chark week 1 or wait. I have him in my wide receiver 3 spot right now. Have Gallup and Elijah Moore on the bench. I think you're making the right move there. Look, Trevor Lawrence is a question mark. We don't know what to expect from that. But the Jaguars aren't going to be a good football team. They're going to have to throw. DJ Chark is their wide receiver 1. I don't want to hear from the Marvin Jones people. I definitely don't want to hear from the Laviska Shenault people. DJ Chark's going to be fine. Start DJC over Elijah and Gallup here in week 1. Big Mike Davis, RB1, absolutely not. I'm not confident in Mike Davis this year at all. I wouldn't want Mike Davis on my team as any better than an RB4. I'm just not confident in Mike Davis. I'm just not. It's a questionable offensive line. We don't look. Mike Davis is a journeyman for a reason. He's a journeyman for a reason. Yeah, he looked good with Carolina last year. That gives Falcons fans hope. But look, at the end of the day, how good is he going to be? I don't think he's going to be a top 12 fantasy running back. I just don't. So, no to Mike Davis being an RB1. Let's see here. Robert Lewis, Patriots defense or Panthers defense this week? I will go with Patriots defense. I'll stream the Patriots defense. I think they're better coached. They're better from top to bottom. Give me the Patriots defense. Start Michael Pittman or Devontae Smith from the Eagles, PPR. Devontae Smith. I like both these guys. I love Michael Pittman and I love Devontae. I love Mike Pittman as long as Wentz is on the field. I love Devontae Smith, period. But I'm going to go with the higher upside here. I'm going to go with Devontae Smith. How do you like Lamb this week in PPR? I think CeeDee Lamb this year is going to be the Cowboys wide receiver 1. I think he's going to be the best Cowboys wide receiver this season. So just barely edging out Amari Cooper. I love Amari as well. I love that offense as a whole. But I will. I think Lamb's going to be fine. I'm starting Lamb. If I drafted him, I'm starting him with confidence. Start Robert Woods, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, or Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm going to go with Robert Woods, and I'll go with T. Higgins. Robert Woods and T. Higgins this week. Larry Kristoff, Mike Gesicki, or excuse me, Mike Gesicki or Tyler Higbee. Larry, I'm going to go with Mike Gesicki there. Now, if you own Matthew Stafford by chance, I would maybe start the stack there with Tyler Higbee. But I do think Jacob Harris is a talent. And I think Jacob Harris, they want to get him involved in the offense. He's a problem. And I don't really like Tyler Higbee this year at all. But I'll go with Mike Gesicki in totality. But if you have Matthew Stafford and you want to start that stack, I think I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Let's see. Wide receivers, pick 3.5 PPR. Woods, OBJ, Boyd, Mooney, Chark, Golladay. I don't think I'm going to go Golladay this week. I don't like the matchup. I don't like the circumstance. I just can't go with Golladay. I'm going to go with Woods. I'm going to go with OBJ. I'm going to go with Boyd. So your first three, those are going to be the three that I'm going to go with over any. Jonathan Dow. Leave it to Dow. One of our wonderful patrons at the RotoBros Fantasy Lounge. You can join the RotoBros Fantasy Lounge by going to patreon.com/RotoBros. That is the place to get all of your start-sit questions answered, all of your trade questions answered, all of your waiver questions answered all season long. We cover everything that has to do with fantasy. Don't pass up on this, I promise you. First 2 months are free for everybody. Patreon.com/RotoBros. Jonathan Dow, my favorite question so far of the night. Hit me in the heart here. Kenyon Drake or Trey Sermon? It's going to be Kenyon Drake for me. I love both these guys. But Kenyon Drake, man, I love Kenyon Drake this year. Love him. I think he's got a high floor. I think he's in a great situation to produce. And God help whoever goes up against you when you own Kenyon Drake if Josh Jacobs gets hurt. Because Kenyon Drake's going to be a monster. Kenyon Drake catching. I want to put something. I'm so excited. I'm throwing my stylus here. I want to put something in perspective for everybody. Kenyon Drake. I feel like everybody's like Kenyon Drake has like this bad stigma about like Kenyon Drake finished as a top 16 running back last year. Do you know that in PPR? And he wasn't even the main pass catcher in the backfield. Chase Edmonds was catching the majority of those passes. Kenyon Drake is efficient. Even when he's not catching the passes. Now, he's going to be in a split backfield again. And he's going to be the main pass catcher. I'm just saying, in PPR, he might be able to bring you that top 16 even more production. And you don't even realize it. You got him as a huge value as your running back 4 or 5. The best value at running back, in my opinion, all of draft season. Here's a good one. PPR League flex spot. Pick one. CEH, Gaskin, Darrell Henderson, Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman, Jerry Jeudy. Pick one. I'm going to put my top three. I'm going to give you CEH number one. I'm going to give you Michael Pittman as long as Carson Wentz plays number two. And I'll take Jerry Jeudy. I'll take Myles Gaskin number three. Myles Gaskin number three. CEH, Michael Pittman, and Jerry Jeudy will be my top three there. 12-team half-point PPR. Need to start four. Thielen, Antonio Brown, Ayuk, Claypool, Robbie Anderson. You're going to bench Robbie Anderson. There you go. Bench Robbie Anderson. That was an easy one. Let's see. Are we ignoring Tony Jones? No, we are not ignoring the guy that essentially forced the Saints to ask Latavius Murray to take a pay cut and thus ended up in his release. No, Tony Jones could very likely have a large role and have a larger role than what we think. Now, look, Kamara's still going to be a top 4 pick off the board in drafts. That doesn't change. Alvin Kamara's going to be fine. But if we thought that Latavius Murray had some value, Tony Jones is a better player, it looks like at this point. He has just as much value as Latavius Murray did. How big are you on Terrace Marshall this year? Terrace Marshall, to me, was a top 3 receiver in this draft as far as talent's concerned. Not wild about the landing spot for this year, but I do think he is going to prove to be one of the top targets on this team. I think that Terrace Marshall is going to be a fine player, but I'd rather have him coming off the bench at wide receiver on my team. But we'll see how good Sam Darnold is. That's going to be like how good Sam Darnold is. I don't think Terrace Marshall being there is going to be a good thing for DJ Moore ultimately. And that's why I've cooled off on DJ Moore a little bit this season. But I like, overall, in totality, I like Terrace Marshall. Larry Kristoff, Kareem Hunt or Gus Edwards? I like both. I'm going to go with Gus Edwards. I love the matchup too much. I'm going with Gus Edwards. Full speed for the Gus bus in week 1. Henderson or Gaskin in PPR? I will go with Gaskin this week. Ethan Hendricks, Hunt, or Courtland Sutton? I will go with Courtland Sutton. I like Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy this week in what should be a pretty juicy matchup against the Giants defense. I will go with Courtland Sutton there. But I like both. Can't go wrong. I'll go with Courtland Sutton. Dominic Hogan, how do you feel starting Elijah Moore in Superflex? I'd like to know who your other options are, but I think I'm going to stick with well, you don't have you didn't list any other options, so I don't know. I really don't know. I need other options, but in general, I don't know that I'd want to start Elijah Moore week 1 immediately. I will tell you this, I will be more inclined to start Elijah Moore if Jamison Crowder doesn't play. If Jamison Crowder plays, those are going to be slot snaps that are going to be split between the two. And it's going to sort of hedge each other. It's going to kind of cap each other. If I'm going to start Elijah Moore, I want to know that he's going to get nearly all the slot snaps. So that's what you need to watch right there. If Jamison plays, I'm out completely on Elijah Moore in fantasy right now. But if he doesn't play, I like Elijah Moore a little bit better. Tyler Martin says, Ben or Trevor Lawrence? I will go with Big Ben. Robert Lewis, Pats or Panthers defense? I think I answered that earlier. It's going to be the Pats defense for sure there. Let me scroll up here. Trade Najee Harris for Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Chris Godwin. No, I am not doing that. Najee Harris is going to be a workhorse that is going to approach 350 touches. He is going to be an RB1 this year. He is going to be excellent as long as he stays on the field. Give me Najee Harris all day long over those two. Let's go here. Devontae Smith over Hunt in flex PPR, says Josh Norton. Yes, absolutely. I'm starting Devontae Smith against my terrible Falcons defense. Let's see. Rob Turdy says Joe Burrow against the Vikings, Matt Ryan against Philly, Wentz against Seattle. I'm going to go Matt Ryan this week. Most of the time it's probably going to be Burrow. Oh, pick 2. Oh, okay. I'll pick 2. You're going to bench Carson Wentz. You'll bench Carson Wentz. You're going to start Burrow. You're going to start Matt Ryan. There you go. That was easy. That was better than I thought it was going to turn out. Rams D or Denver D? Man, this guy's got a good problem to have. However, you should not be owning 2 defenses. So for me, week 1, I'm going to go which team is playing Andy Dalton in a new offense Week 1, and which defense has Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald? I'm going to go with the Rams. I like both. I'm going to go with the Rams. Zach Carlson, Week 1, PPR. Hollywood Brown, no. Never. Not going to be if Hollywood Brown is in your question, the answer is going to be no. Chase or Waddle? I will roll the dice with Jamar Chase there. I'll roll the dice with Jamar Chase. Antonio Brown or Jerry Jeudy for the season opener? I will go Antonio Brown. I like both. I don't think you can go wrong. I will go Antonio Brown. Keep or drop Latavius Murray? That's really an open-ended question. I gotta know more. I need more information. Who are your other options? Let's see. Start 2. Woods, Ayuk, Juju, T. Higgins. Woods and T. Higgins this week. Woods and T. Higgins. Kenny Fusello. That's a name I haven't seen in a while. Kenny Fusello. Fournette or Ronald Jones if he had to pick. It's going to be Leonard Fournette. Every time it's going to be Leonard Fournette. Henderson or Gaskin, PPR. It'll be Gaskin. Devontae Smith or Antonio Brown, says Robert Lewis. I will go with Devontae Smith. I think. That's the best question of the night right there. That's the toughest question of the night. I would hope that you could get both in your lineup. But I am going to go... I'm going to go Devontae Smith. I like both, and they are neck and neck this week, but I'm going to go with Devontae Smith here. I'll take the higher ceiling, if you will, with Devontae Smith. All right, let's keep going down the line here. Callaway or Chris Carson, says Michael Figueroa. Callaway or Chris Carson? I'm not benching Chris Carson. I'm going Chris Carson. I love Marquez Callaway. I think he's gonna be fine. I think he's a good start as well, but I'm gonna go Chris Carson. I'm not benching Chris Carson. Workhorse running back for a high-powered Russell Wilson-led offense. I will go with Chris Carson all day long. Let's see. Did you say Hunt or Debo? I will go with Hunt. Kareem Hunt over Debo Samuel. Kareem Hunt over Debo Samuel. Mostert or Edwards or Jacobs. RB3 for Superflex. I'll go Edwards, Jacobs, Mostert in that order. Edwards, Jacobs, Mostert in that order. I have Stafford. I also have Darrell Henderson. 2 questions. Should I try and trade him away? I have Najee Harris and Eckler for week 1. Do I start Henderson in my flex with Stafford at quarterback? I don't really think that matters much. I don't think it's really much of a stack, quote unquote, for Stafford and Henderson. I don't think that really matters who your quarterback is when it comes to Henderson. No, I don't think you should try. Well, I mean, you can always put somebody on the block and see what you can get. But no, I don't think you need to panic. So my answer for that would be no. I don't think Henderson is a bad flex play this week, but I don't know who your other options are besides him to play in your flex. But no, I don't think you should. I don't think you should panic about Darrell Henderson being a running back just because you have Matthew Stafford. I don't think that's going to matter at all. Dusty Dunaway, Tyler Boyd or Debo Samuel. I will go with Tyler Boyd. I have Waddle or Jamar Chase on the bench. Not sure what the question was there. All right, last one. Let's see. Half point PPR. Pick one. Jerry Jeudy, Tyler Lockett, Pittman, or Boyd. I'll put them in order for you. This one's going to be easy. Tyler Lockett is the answer. Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman, Jerry Jeudy, Tyler Boyd. Those are your 4 in order. It's going to be Tyler Lockett. Okay, that is not the last one. Sorry, a couple more just came in. DeAndre Swift, Dark, or Michael Pittman. I will go with DeAndre Swift. Robert Lewis, Diggs, Allen. You are benching Allen Robinson this week. Sorry. Diggs, Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, Marquez Callaway, Devontae Smith, Antonio Brown. Good God almighty, you are loaded at wide receiver. You're benching Allen Robinson. Going against Jalen Ramsey, number 1. The quarterback is Andy Dalton. Said quarterback is going to be getting chased by Aaron Donald. You don't want any of that. Allen Robinson is going to be a bench play this week. Sorry. You're not going to bench Diggs. You're not going to bench Keenan Allen ever. And you're going to play Devontae Smith, and you're going to play Antonio Brown. So those are your 4. Diggs, Keenan Allen, Devontae Smith, Antonio Brown. Drake or Mooney in the flex. Give me Kenyon Drake all day long. Waddle, Chase, or Darrell Henderson for the flex. I will go Darrell Henderson, Chase, and then Waddle in that order. Zach Carlson, pick 1. Cooper, Edmonds, Damian Harris. Cooper. Is that Amari Cooper? If that's Amari Cooper, it's Amari Cooper. If it's Cooper Kupp, it's going to be Cooper Kupp. So I don't really care who it is. It's going to be Cooper, whoever that is. Would you bench James Robinson? I assume who that is. Or Allen Robinson? I don't know if it's flex. Either for Beasley and PPR. For Beasley, man, that's tough. I don't think he should be starting out. I can't advise you to start Cole Beasley over Allen Robinson. I just can't. If it's James Robinson, absolutely not. He's going to be the workhorse for Jacksonville. So no, the answer is no. You're not going to bench whoever Robinson is for Beasley. Okay, it's Allen Robinson. Yeah, I can understand it. The argument's there this week. I'm still going to take the talent there over Cole Beasley. Go ahead and give me Allen Robinson over Cole Beasley. Drop Nyheim Hines or Michael Pittman Jr. to pick up J.J. Jefferson with Eckler questionable. I don't understand the question. Justin Jackson, maybe. But I don't think no. I can't. Justin Jefferson's not on the waiver wire, so that's not him. No, I think Eckler's going to play anyway. But if for some reason he doesn't, you're going to start Michael Pittman. Let's see. Do I pick up Jones from New Orleans and drop A.J. Dillon? To be quite honest with you, I think they're pretty close. I like Kylan Hill a lot more than A.J. Dillon. I don't think A.J. Dillon's a very good football player. I just don't. I think Kylan Hill's a much better football player. We're going to see that. It may take a little while, but we're going to see that. Yeah, I'm going to say no. I think you can hold right now, but I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to do it. But I ultimately I'll just say hold and wait because I think they're very close right now. We'll see how they use A.J. Dillon. But look, if your gut's telling you Tony Jones, by all means go Tony Jones. I think he's going to have just as much, maybe even more value than A.J. Dillon as far as standalone value. Because I think Kylan Hill, maybe I'm talking myself out of A.J. Dillon, because I do think Kylan Hill is going to be used a lot. They see how talented he is as an all-around talent. He's better than A.J. Dillon. So, yeah, I think I would go Tony Jones. I just talked myself out of it live on air. There we go. Okay, last question. Sorry for any questions I didn't get. If I didn't get to yours, I will try to get to it once we get off air here. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Look, week one, well, 23, 22 hours away. I'm looking forward to it. I know everybody else is. The start of the season is right upon us. We will be back for Start Sit Sunday. Roto Bros Live. Start Sit Sunday for week one, Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. So get ready for that. Or excuse me, 11 a.m. Eastern. 11 a.m. Eastern. So all you people on the West Coast, wake up early. Have your toaster strudel, your crunch wrap from Taco Bell, which are really good, by the way. Highly recommend. Have that ready, and we'll do some Start Sit on Sunday morning. Guys, you have a great night. Again, any questions that I wasn't able to get to, I will get to those in the comments and answer those, again, in the comments. So thank you guys for hanging out. We will talk to you guys on Sunday. I am out.